Hey everyone, welcome to Rich and Wellness Workshops. My name is Roddia Paul.
And my name is Shola Cargill. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for everyone who joins us every week, and welcome I'm joining the Rich and Wellness meetings that we have every Wednesdays. We're finishing off our topic on physical wellness. We're talking about everything outside of fitness, right? So we don't like that word here, and we're going to talk about why. Because fitness kind of sends the message that in order to be physically well, you have to engage in exercise. And while exercise is one component to being physically well, you don't necessarily have to engage in exercise to be physically well. And even if you do, exercise is very relative. We have another video about that, which I'll definitely link at the end of this video, so we won't get in it too deep, y'all. But exercise is individual, which we say all the time here. So really, really check into that video if you have not, to learn why, exercise can be a lot more obtainable and doable than we're led to believe. But we also think it's super important today, just before we get into the nitty gritty of what physical wellness can be outside of exercise, to really talk about what physical wellness is and is not, right? So it's important to destigmatize the thought that to be physically well, it's about your external appearance, it's about having to actively engage in like going to the gym and weightlifting and running or being a certain weight or even having a certain body mass index, right? Worrying about fat to muscle to whatever else, and it's not really about that. It's your ability to be well. And I think Shola can tell us a little bit more about what that means, right? Because when we think about physical wellness, a lot of times it's more so about like how other people see us and how society believes us to feel or makes us feel, I'm sorry, that we should look or carry ourselves or be a certain way or look a certain way. And I think Shola can explain a little bit more, about what it is when I say be well. What does that mean, Shola?
Yes. Thank you, first of all, for explaining what it is not, right? Because I think a big part of this understanding how to implement something or how to incorporate it into your lifestyle, you really have to understand both sides of it. And so, us being able to know what it's not allows us to open up the options for what it actually is. And just coming from a very simple, yet complex understanding, physical wellness is balance management of the physical body based on standards that are unique to one's individual composition. So, we preach all the time about individualized care, right? This is the same thing. Physical wellness is what it is for you. We may give some options here, we may give some examples. Ultimately, how they look and how you go about engaging in those physical wellness practices are going to be different for you. And the things that stick and the things that fit may not always fit for you, right? Because you're ever changing. Right, you're ever changing. And so also being able to pay attention to yourself and follow that flow of change is also going to be important. But we'll talk about why that's important a little bit later. So again, just kind of thinking about these other aspects of physical wellness outside of things like exercise, we can do things like meditation, right? Meditation, getting into a space of calm within your mind, body, and spirit, aligning that system. We are a system. Our body drives the vessel, right? It drives us. So we have to be able to have that connection between our mind and our spirit so that we know where to go, so that we know how, again, to make it individual and personalized to ourselves. So meditation could be one option. And again, right, so many people say, oh, I can't meditate. I don't know how to meditate. Figure out what meditation is for you, right? Because the standards that they have out now, it may not fit. It may not fit. So feel free to explore that. Roddia, what else can they explore? What are some other examples of physical wellness?
I love that you just said that they should figure out how meditation works for them, because there's so many different ways to meditate. So I definitely encourage you all to do your own research and really try. But there are so many other aspects to physical wellness. And I think one of the ones that often gets overlooked, Shola, is sleep. I think a lot of people don't realize that our quality of sleep, not just sleeping, having quality sleep is really imperative to our physical wellness. And I think it's because we live in a society that they almost praise being tired, right? They praise being busy. It's like a competition of who can be the most tired sometimes, because you have all these businesses and you're doing all of these things and you're helping all these people. But it's like, are you helping and checking in for yourself? And that starts with making sure you get quality sleep. Like, ensuring you have a quality of sleep means you create a regimen. Check in with yourself. Do I need 5 hours? Do I feel better with 6? Maybe I need all full 8. Understand how much or how little sleep you need and stick to that. Of course, there'll be days, when you can't get what you normally need, but for the most part, you want to have a regimen, right? And that's important because not only does it allow your body to rest, but it promotes a stable mood. I don't know about y'all, but I get cranky when I haven't had, I'm a 7 to 8 hours girl. If I get below 7, I'm cranky, right? And that's because like our sleep promotes that stable mood, our ability to cope with our day's emotions and events and experiences. All of that is wrapped in our quality of sleep, right? And then another one that people don't think about, vitamin D. Going outside and letting the nature do its work on your body, such as allowing the sun's rays to feed your skin, to feed your hair, to boost your internal body nutrition. And it helps so much. I'm telling y'all so much about energy and boosting your mood. That's why seasonal depression exists for many people, is they're not getting the vitamin D that their body requires. So a lot of people do experience a lower mood, lower energy during the months that are colder and tend to have shorter periods of daylight, right? So those things are very important. I mentioned a little bit about skin and hair, Shola. Can you tell me and the others watching why that's really important for our physical wellness?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love that you brought everything together, right? Like sleep, mood, energy, all of those things play a part in our existence, in our experiences on the day to day. So, skin and health, right? Very similar. We walk outside with skin and hair. People see us, they're like, you're, you're a body and you are covered with skin and you have hair, right? This is a part of our physical appearance. So it means that we do have to take care of it. We do have to make sure that we're moisturizing our skin from the topical side, right? But then there's also the part where we can do internal care, right? So it's also internal and it's external, making sure that you have, like Roddia said, some sort of regimen to care for your hair, to care for your skin. And then there's also the other side where your hair and skin can be signals to what's going on in your body. If you're finding that your skin is more dry, if you're finding that your skin is it's more susceptible to breaking and stuff like that, that could mean that you need more hydration internally, right? Another thing with hair, if your hair is falling out, it could mean that there's something going on with your hormone levels. It could mean that there's something going on with stress, even. So, even using your skin and your hair as a way to achieve that physical wellness by looking at it as signals. Another thing you can do, and this is the biggest thing based on what we've talked about, is just listen to your body, right? Listen to what your body is saying. All of the things that we have, that we are equipped with, they serve a purpose, they serve a function. And a lot of times we may not be fully aware of that function. Nonetheless, we do have the ability to check in and just monitor and listen. And as far as the awareness goes and really knowing what's going on, that may mean that you have to go check a regular health practitioner, maybe somebody who has a little bit more knowledge about how things are connected, what may be going on with you internally if you don't feel well. And so, again, right, how do you listen to your body? Roddia, how do we do that?
I'm so glad you asked, because I really think one thing you and I were really talking about is just the fact of like, is there's two parts to this, right? And this is not just for physical wellness, but of course we're placing an emphasis on that today. But in general, you have to check in with yourself. And then after you check in with yourself, you have to follow up with, doing those self-care based actions we talked about like series ago, right? So check in with yourself. Literally ask yourself, how do I feel? How does my hair or skin feel or look? Do I feel hydrated? Do I feel well rested? Does any part of my body ache? Do I feel confident when I look at my skin, when I look at my hair, when I look at my body? Am I confident, right? And those are some ways to ask yourself questions to really check in. And depending on the answer you get, if you're not satisfied with it, what are you going to do about it? Like it's one thing to check in with yourself and be like, okay, well, I'm feeling very exhausted. I feel mentally tired. I feel physically tired. My skin, it's kind of limp. My hair is not as volumized as it normally is. It's breaking. I may notice that I'm feeling frequently like I have to pee often. That's usually like meaning you're dehydrated, So check in with yourself, check in. And when you realize after you've checked in, that there's something going on, that's a signal for you to try and figure out, what is my body telling me that it needs? And take the time to figure that out and then give your body that thing. Everything that we do and we show up for others, we have to do it for ourselves, right? And that starts with checking in with yourself and making sure you're good. And then being like, okay, my body needs more rest. I'm going to make a regimen. Okay, my hair is really dry and maybe I just have not washed and conditioned it in a while. And that means I need to make time to do that. Us girls, we put that off. We'll put our hair in a bun real quick, so it's just important to just check in with your body, y'all. And then when your body speaks to you, listen. If we could tell you nothing else today, it's listen, right? Don't just have it speak, but listen and respond to what it tells you. Shola, can you tell us a little bit more like why that's important? Why is everything we've been talking about as far as physical wellness, listening to our body, creating regimens, why is that important?
Oh my goodness. I love that, right? You're listening and you're being active in that healing process, in achieving that optimal wellness based on you listening and taking the time out to slow down and say, okay, what's going on here? Let me just check in and see. And so, again, as we've been talking about, there's so many pieces to this. Physical wellness impacts our mental health, our emotional health. It impacts our relationships. It impacts our confidence, how we feel about ourselves, how we go into the world, and how we show up. All of that goes into our physical wellness. And if we have poor physical wellness, we're not going to feel motivated to get out there and show up as authentically as we can be. We're not going to feel motivated to do the things that may even allow us to achieve that wellness again. And it may be harder for us to reach out for help and say, hey, can you go walking with me? Because there are a lot of things that go into making sure that this vessel and this body is still moving and grooving in the way that we want it to go. So really being able to recognize that we're a system. It's all a system. And if we're paying attention to our mental health, but neglecting our physical health, then we might find ourselves in a state of imbalance, right? So we've been talking a lot about self-care. We've been talking a lot about being mindful, right? Don't forget your body. Remember your body. Your body is that vehicle that allows you to keep going. So we have to give it love, just like we give other things love. Okay. And so on that note, before we wrap up, Roddia, do you have anything else to share to the people?
It was that last part for me, Shola. Don't forget your body, right? Everything is interconnected. As we feed our mind, we must feed our body in circle, in rotation. So I'm so glad you said that. But other than that, I have nothing to say. I think you wrapped it up pretty well.
Yes, thank you. So, in the spirit of rounding everything up, this is our last video until May. Okay, so in between now and May, Feel free to review our old videos. Feel free to see what gems are in those toolkits. You never know what you might take from it. So just have fun exploring and have a wonderful, safe, well spring break.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.